we've shown you how to get to Cozumel, but what is there to do when you're there?
So we first took our Jeep and stopped at Albertos Beach Bar. We went pretty early in the day, but it was still pretty empty. There was only one or two other groups there.
This was actually recommended to us by a taxi driver. He said it's one of the best places to get seafood and like shrimp tacos and stuff.
They have a full drink menu and lots of different foods to pick from. They told us that their margarita was made from all fresh ingredients, that they don't use a mix when they make their margaritas. As far as margaritas go, it's pretty good, I guess. We tried the conch ceviche. It's pretty good. It tastes really fresh. Lots of fresh onion and cilantro in it.
Albertos, like a lot of other beach bars, offers you the ability to go snorkeling right off the side of the restaurant. They do have a lot of different little wildlife and like iguanas and stuff there. We did end up going out and snorkeling after we ate our lunch. The snorkeling is pretty cool. You do need to bring your own equipment and gear.
The water's pretty clear.
But yeah, once you buy your food and everything, it's free of charge to go snorkel for as long as you want. One thing that you do need to know before going to Cozumel is that if you do plan on snorkeling,
don't forget to bring water shoes with you. There are lots of places in Cozumel where it's pretty rocky, so you'll want them so that you don't cut your feet. Another beach club that you can visit is Reef Beach Club.
We stayed at Secrets Resort, which we'll do a video at another video showing that resort specifically, but it's really near there.
Here you are allowed to snorkel as long as you want with a purchase. So as long as you get something to eat or something to drink, you are welcome to use their area to snorkel.
We got some fish tacos here that were pretty good. Again, once you pay for the food, the snorkeling and everything else is included.
The snorkeling was really good at this spot too. This was one of the only places we went that we saw live coral in the water. But they did have jellyfish, and they did sting me a lot, so just be careful.
But they do have a really vast variety of different fish, and it's a pretty fun spot to hang out.
Punta Sur is another popular place on the island.
But before you get into Punta Sur, there's a couple of reggae bars right outside. One of them is going to be Rasta's. It's a pretty cool joint. It's going to play a lot of different reggae music and have a lot of fun drinks and stuff available and food, just like a lot of the other bars.
They have lots of hats and t-shirts from the people that visited from all different states.
And another one is Freedom in Paradise, which is pretty much essentially the same thing. They are both some really cool places to stop at if you just want to get a different vibe and hear a little reggae music. And you can bring yourself a t-shirt or something and sign it, and they'll even put it up if you have an extra one that you want to leave. As you get further down the island, the water does get a lot rougher.
Punta Sur Eco Beach Park is another fun place to visit.
You do need a vehicle that's kind of built for rougher terrain, so just kind of be aware of that. But like if you're renting a Jeep or something, usually that shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. You'll pay a fee to get into the island, and then once you get in there, there's several activities that are included with that fee. As you make your way down the beach, there are maps you can use, but there's also just follow the roads, and it pretty much is self-explanatory.
There's lots of different parts of the beach park with various different activities. One of which is an old Mayan ruin. El Caracol. It's a Mayan ruin that was used back in the day for them to track weather. I believe that somehow the way the wind blew through it when a hurricane was coming signaled to everyone that a storm was coming. There was also a lagoon there. And as we walked by, the man working said, "Oh, come see, there's a crocodile that you can see today, and he was right there as soon as we walked in.
We're not completely sure if there was any other alligators or if that was only one, but from all of our research, it seems like everyone's seen that same alligator, or crocodile, I'm sorry. It's actually one of 3 different lagoons. Chunkakab and Columbia are the 2 other lagoons that are located in the park, but this one in particular is a saltwater crocodile habitat.
It was pretty quiet in this part of the park, but we did manage to see a few other little fish swimming in the water. Then you'll make your way over to the lighthouse.
The Solarian Lighthouse, which is the main draw. Once we got to the lighthouse, you'll see that there's a lot of other vehicles there that are doing Jeep tours and stuff, so you just kind of park and find your way there.
There are lots of iguanas all over the island. So we made our way up the lighthouse.
If you're going to climb the lighthouse, just know it's going to be 127 total steps inside of it, so it's very narrow, and me being at 6'5", it was not always the easiest. There was some tight squeezes, but we made it and we gutted our way through it. It kind of gave you some feels of when we went to Rome and we had to climb up the St. Peter's Basilica, but not quite as high. But it was still some great views, and once I squeezed my body through the little opening, you were able to get a good look at it. The lighthouse is actually the southernmost point of the island, so you kind of get to see out into the ocean a little bit, and also just the island itself as you look back onto it.
Next to the lighthouse is the Navigation Museum.
In here, they have a lot of different artifacts.
The different jobs that people would have had there, the different industries that they might have had there at the time.
Just kind of pay tribute to kind of the travel aspect of the island's history in terms of how people came there, migrated there, and just a lot of the different periods that happened throughout this island's history. That was the Caracol, and you just kind of see what it would have looked like back during that time.
There's also some information about the wildlife and all the different critters that you can find on the island. And there's this cute little photo op.
So it's a pretty good, cool stop. And if you're really into history, it's a really fun stop for you. But even if not, I think it's something that most people would get a kick out of seeing some of that stuff there. And there's a lot of old artifacts and things that are still left in that museum.
Once you go outside, there are some places to sit, a little coastal area.
And there's a lot of little shops you can go to and just kind of get some stuff from local vendors.
There's some swings you can sit in. Both times we went to this part of the island, it was very windy.
One thing you can also do, if you go down, there's a little road that you can drive down. It closes at 5, but if you go in, they actually have 2 beach bars there as well. One of the ones we went to was Del Cello Beach Club.
You can order food there, and then you can also snorkel.
It's a pretty cool beach club down here in the end of it's kind of the end of this road in Punta Sur, so you're going to turn around here, but it's just like a lot of the others you've seen. The snorkeling is included as long as you buy food. At this bar, it was actually pretty neat. We snorkeled and saw a lot of fish, but when we got out, we unfortunately missed seeing a stingray and some barracudas, which I don't know if we would have liked seeing those or not up close, but it would have been something to see.
You can also have some close encounters with the native wildlife, like this raccoon here. He was just made himself at home, was crawling under everyone's beach chairs. As you can see, I was not impressed by his presence. He was very comfortable on the beach and did not really seem concerned by any of the people around. As you can also see, these other people were either unaware or just unconcerned with the raccoon near them.
Leaving the beach club and that area in general is pretty self-explanatory. It just ends at a loop road and you drive straight back out the way you came.
Several other beach bars along the coast on the island.
A few years back when we were traveling up the island, we stopped at another one of those random beach bars up the coast, El Mirador. And at that one, it's the same as everything else. It's some cool spots to get photos that you can stop at and just take it easy. That's one of the beauties of this island, is just that freedom to just kind of get out and do whatever you like and kind of make the vacation your own.
Our favorite of the beach bars would have to be Welcome to Miami.
They have a lot of different, I guess you could call them sexual innuendo signs.
You might even get lucky and see the resident dog Chickleen who lives there. They have lots of different drinks that you can pick from.
But the thing that we came for is what they're known for, is the mojitos. We actually were able to show you how the entire process, because they'll make it right in front of you. They have no problem, and they'll grind up all the different mint and then mixing all the alcohol and the different mangoes and stuff if you're getting fruit in it. It's a really good drink. I'd say it's definitely one of those things you should try. A lot of people I haven't really seen discuss it too much, but I think that if you're gonna go and you want to experience the island and see what's really, get some good food and drinks, it's definitely one of those places you should stop at. They'll do a mango margarita or regular margarita. They also sell food here, and they have a nice little area where you can either sit in some hammocks or just kind of get a seat at a table and just kind of enjoy the waves. But we got fish tacos at one time, and we got some crab soup.
Their crab soup is heavenly and one of the best things I've ever eaten in all of the world.
It's just a cool spot in general. I think that you can just kind of hang out and just really relax. Even Chickleen agrees. I would say that it's not the best place for snorkeling just because it's going to be a lot rougher water. If you're looking for more to do, one thing you can do is get an excursion.
One of the excursions that you can do is to go to Tulum. You'll have to take the ferry back to Playa del Carmen and then travel to Tulum by bus or taxi or something.
We ended up getting to go see some Mayan ruins, and we also got to see a few different shops and kind of hang out in that little area that was near those ruins.
Our tour included lunch. It was really good.
And then you get to go to a few different cenotes. There are other options involved than just ruins and cenotes, but what we want to do was swim and then see the ruins, so that's what we did.
Make sure you either wash off your sunscreen before you go or use Reef safe sunscreen so it doesn't hurt the fish and the coral. The water in the cenote was pretty chilly too, so don't let it shock you.
There are several cenotes in the area.
This was another kind of cenote or lagoon area that we stopped in.
It's a really fun experience. It's a little cool, I'd say, in terms of how chilly the water is. If you're at your resort and you just not want to leave, there's things you can do there as well. We arranged one time when we stayed at a resort to take a bike tour.
It was not for the faint of heart, so be careful.
They rode us a total of 6 miles, but you ended up going 3 miles to what was basically a Mayan ruin, and they would give you a small tour of that. And then once you did that, you just take your trip right back to your hotel. I'm sure there's several different versions of that, but that was the one we went on. It was a pretty fun thing to get to do. If the nightlife's your thing, Cozumel does offer that as well. You obviously get more in Cancun and like Playa del Carmen, but in Cozumel, it's a little more laid back. But they do have a few different restaurants and bars that you're able to stop at and get some good food.
We chose to go to Casa Dennis.
They had some pretty good food and stuff to pick from.
They had some people playing live music outside.
One group that stopped was a breakdancing group.
They were actually pretty good.
We even came and gave them a tip because they did a really good job.
When walking through the downtown area, we saw a group having a little dance class.
It's a really fun environment, so you just kind of feel like you're just really a part of everything, and if you really just let go, you can have a really great time.
There's lots of little shops in the area. Another restaurant we went to on a previous visit was La Mission.
It was recommended by some people as well. It had really good food. We ended up getting fajitas and ceviche, which seems to be a theme for us.
The ceviche was very huge, but very delicious.
Everything was good. I'd say it's on par. I will say though that the food along the island is sometimes, in my opinion, a little bit better, but I'm not saying anything's bad. But I do like the food that you get as you drive along the island on the outskirts. Downtown, they have a lot of different bars you can stop at. Dick's Dive is one that we saw. It was a little less crowded than what it would be during a non-COVID time, because when we went before, there was a lot more people there. Another one that we went into was Wet Wendy's.
It's owned by a fireman, so you can see lots of different patches from different fire stations around the country. They have a pretty big menu of different flavors of margaritas that you normally wouldn't find in other places. Like a orange creamsicle and strawberry basil. They also had live music.
But otherwise, you can just kind of make your way through the city. They have some nice cool signs you can take pictures by, and it's a really photogenic place.
Thanks for following along with us to Cozumel.
I know that there's other things you can do and there's other ways to have this trip, but for us, that was a really great way to have it without it being something that did too much that took away from your experience of getting to relax. But I definitely say Cozumel should be on the top of a lot of people's lists when it comes to trying to travel and finding somewhere to relax, especially in an island environment.
Hope you enjoy.
See you guys later. Peace.